Turner, and this is my show called Mikaela's Kreations, teaching you how to throw it in the kitchen. And today we're making stuffed mushroom, and if we have enough stuffing, we'll make stuffed bell peppers. Now, what we're using to put into the stuffed mushroom is already chopped mushroom stem, some sausage, eggs, breadcrumbs, some seasonings, garlic, onions, a little bit of bell pepper, bacon, and shrimp. So, right now I'm going to start with chopping up the bell pepper. Now, you have to cut out the stem with your paring knife, which is the smallest knife. You cut it out just like that. Okay. You push down or push out, or you can pick it out. Either way. You can throw it in here, and then we're going to cut our pepper in half, like that. And this we're going to put over here. We're not using it right now. This one, we have to just peel out all the white stuff. You can use our paring knife to peel it all out, or we just peel it out ourselves. But the paring knife will help later on. So you dump out all these seeds. Okay. And since this is the one that we're gonna mince or dice in little pieces, so all these seeds out. Like, okay. We're gonna cut half, place here. I wanted to use a yellow bell pepper because I think it'll give it a little bit of color, and so I'm going to use some red seasonings like paprika and maybe some chipotle for the seasonings of the mushrooms, because I want to give it some red. I just want it to be like a colorful looking mushroom. I don't want it to look too cheesy or just plain brown, you know. And I use some orange cheese, cheddar cheese, which most people call it. I'll put this with all the chopped vegetables. We're gonna put this, everything that goes in here, we're gonna put into the skillet and cook it so it won't be so hard when put into the oven. Now you should set your oven to 400, and the mushrooms should cook for about 20 minutes, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so after I cut up my yellow pepper, rinse off my hands real quick, I'm going to cut my onion. Now the onion, if you start on this side, you could, like, you know when your eyes get watery from the onion? That's from this side. So if you cut from this side, it'll be easier. You have to peel. So you cut like this, throw that away, and then you peel off this part of the skin. Yeah. And I heard that if you rub your cutting board with lemon juice or with lemons, it'll be easier and you won't have to deal with the crying of the onion. Or also, they have like these onion goggles that you could wear that could make it much easier. Okay, so to cut an onion, you hold it like this, just down, like this. Okay, that's about as much onion I want. And everything's gonna be in like super small pieces, minced pieces. This is about as much onion I'm going to use. I'll put the rest in the onion bag. Need to close that up. Then I'm going to clean up my mess real quick. So I washed my cutting board. I have to start with a clean board. Last year in culinary competition, we always have to sanitize our board, like with everything we use. So that's why I just washed it off. And plus it was getting sticky and my hands were getting sticky and all that stuff. So this is a bulb of garlic. Now you think that you have to use the whole thing garlic, but you don't. You only use a clove. And this is how you open up a clove of garlic. So it's like hard on the outside. So what you do is you use your knife, smash it down, and it opens right up. You can get the inside clove, and then you cut off the ends. Okay. So a funny story about garlic. During my culinary competition in Guam, I was pretty nervous, right? So I had to mince up the garlic, and that's like an easy cut. But me and my nervous self, I was like freaking out. So instead I cut up all the cloves of garlic, which gave us not enough time to concasse, which is like dice a tomato. And yeah, so we ran out of time to do that. And I was just freaking out. I felt really bad because I didn't think about it. Like, I thought I was doing the right thing, but I wasn't. And garlic, it has a real impactful punch. Like, it's kind of like an onion, so that's why you also don't need to use a lot. So it looks good to me. And the garlic is actually super sticky too. So you have to wash your cutting board and knife and hands again, or else your hands will end up smelling like garlic. So I'll put this with all the rest of the vegetables. Grab the rest of this. Oh, there's more. Okay. So the knife that I'm using is called a sentoku. It's a Japanese type of knife. It's kind of like a chef's knife, but it's not a chef's knife. I'm gonna go wash this real quick. So in sentoku, this was a gift from a family friend. His name is Mr. Oliver, and he's a chef in the Marine Corps. And so he knows that I want to cook and I want to be the next chef of the future. And so he gave me 2 knife sets, which I'm really very proud of. One knife set, like all the knives are super huge and it's kind of scary to cut with. And then this knife set, I got a sentoku, a paring knife, and a utility knife. So now what we're going to do, now these shrimps, they're in the freezer, and so I just let the ice melt off. So I put them in some water and let all that happen. And these were already pre-peeled, so right now I'm just going to take off the tails, and then I'm going to chop them up a little bit. So it'll be easy. And they're already deveined too. That's what the bag said. But I kind of see a vein already. Okay. So I like shrimp. And I thought it wouldn't be enough meat to just like shrimp. And I was going to use turkey bacon with the mushrooms. But I thought shrimp, turkey bacon, that doesn't really sound right. So that's why I just grabbed the bacon bits, because we don't have the real good stuff of bacon. Okay. Always wash your hands when you're messing with raw meat, because that's cross-contamination, and that's not good. So, okay. So now we're going to start cut up our shrimp. Okay. We're just going to cut.
Woman with a future and a past. A little attitude problem, all good, it'll make it last. Don't make it too easy, girl, don't take it too fast.
Okay, I'm done with this cutting board for real. We're gonna start. Turn this up a little bit. Where's my olive oil? Put a little olive oil in here. And we're gonna saute the vegetables. We're gonna add a tiny bit of seasoning. Okay. So here's our vegetables. My spatula or my turner. So we're gonna put that in here. And we're just gonna let that sizzle for a little bit. The thing in this skillet that will take the longest to cook is the onion and the bell pepper. And mushrooms, it takes no time to cook. Just a little note. So like if you want to make an omelet or something like that, always start with the onions. Or I don't think people put bell peppers in their omelets, but if they do, onions, bell pepper, then your tomatoes, and then the meat should already. But now we're over here, and we are going to start the other stuffing stuff. So we have our breadcrumbs, our eggs, okay, and then we need to get out our cheese. Okay, get a napkin so we can crack our eggs. I'm just gonna eye it of a cup. That's a cup to me, it's all gone too, so that's good. We're gonna put some eggs in here. Okay, that's all done. And throw this away. Got to keep our place clean and neat. Okay, put some cheese in it. This is Italian cheese, 5 cheeses, so make it extra cheesy. I like cheese, so I like my stuff extra cheesy. Just a little. Now we're gonna get some grated cheese. It's Parmesan and Romano. I'm gonna put a little bit in there, but I see there's some already in here, so that's good. Then we're just gonna mix it up a little bit. And then I hear my stuff sizzling. We can actually start cooking the shrimp because I have another little skillet we can use. You can start seasoning that up too. So let me get my little skillet. Okay, so skillets. In culinary class, sometimes I put the wrong skillet on the wrong eye size. So small skillets always go on the small eye size. Like sometimes I just think, well, it'll cook like faster, but actually it's just the heat going around it, so it's not even cooking all what you want it to do. So just because it's bigger doesn't mean it's better. So we're going to start our shrimp up. A little of that. We're going to put some seasonings. I'm going to put in a little bit of curry powder, a little bit of chipotle, basil, oregano, it's going to go with the vegetables, ground coriander seed, roasted ground cumin, and we don't need onion powder. And then this is natural seasonings without any MSG, because MSG gives me headaches, just a fact. So, now usually when I cook, I don't usually like test it out, I just test while I go. So it usually, but it ends up being good. It's not usually ends up being good. It always ends up being good. Like there's only one meal that I made that didn't really end up right. Like once I made, I think my sister, she calls it island food. So I made like this mushy rice with a vegetable mix, and it didn't really taste right because the rice was all mushy and stuff. That's before I learned how to make amazing rice. And then once I learned how, or I made my parents some anniversary cookies, and I didn't know how to bake, and I read the ingredients, and it said 1/2, but I didn't see where it said teaspoon, and so I put in 1/2 cup of salt instead. So yeah, I learned how to read culinary terms now. This is cooking. Add a little bit of olive oil to this. A little bit of sea salt. Make it taste like it's super, super fresh straight out of the sea. I usually fry my stuff or saute my stuff in butter because I think butter makes everything taste better. But today I'm going to try to be healthy and not saute it in butter. Just for the heck of it. But I think everything always tastes better in butter. If you don't want to use butter, you can always use cream. I read that from a chef quote. I don't know if that's true or not. Okay, so while these things are cooking, this is cooking. Okay, I'm gonna go get some butter because it looks pretty dry to me. My whipped butter. Tastes better. And you turn down the heat a little bit on both sides. Because when you turn up the heat on the stove, it doesn't make the food cook faster, it makes it burn faster. I learned that the hard way too. Like I used to turn up the heat for my grilled cheeses because I thought it would make the cheese melt and all stuff, but it just burned the bread and it was very upsetting. Or I used to do that with pancakes too. This shrimp cooks amazingly fast. Okay. So this is done. Put this with that. Okay. Put this over here. Turn this off. Always turn off your eyes and always make sure that the handle to the skillet is this way. It's not sticking out, because sticking out, someone could walk in it and flip up and hit them in the face and burn them or something like that. So now I'm going to grab my sausage that I already pre-made because sausage takes semi long time. I used Jimmy Dean sausages, the sage, because it tastes amazing. I'm just going to crumble it up in there. Okay. That. So the colors I see in here, I see yellow, a little bit of red, some pink from the shrimp, brown from the sausage, and white from the onions. The mushrooms are brown. I don't have any green onions, so that will bring a pop to it if I don't have any of that. The only green thing I have in my refrigerator is cabbage, which sucks because cabbage does not go in stuffed mushrooms. It goes like stir fry. But okay. I believe these are done. Put this on over here. Throw this away. Okay. So now that these are done, I have to wash my hands from the grease from the sausage. Back to our mix. Alright? Okay. So our mix is right here. It's dying. Need some third, need some milk. If it's like too dry, after we put everything in it and it's still too dry, then you can put in some more egg, or you can put in some milk or cream. I think we're going to need a bigger bowl. Let me get a bigger bowl. And I have a handy dandy rubber scraper, which I got for Christmas, and I was so excited about getting a rubber scraper. I wanted some cooking equipment for Christmas. Like, I know that sounds nerdy, but I really, really wanted some. Okay. Check that out. This goes away. Now, we're going to put our mix in here. Wow, look at this goodness. Now tell me this doesn't look good. It looks delicious to me. It smells delicious. The cameraman's even drilling over there. So it's off the chain. You know it's gonna be off the chain. Just look at this. Okay. I add one more egg. And then it's still dry, and then I'm going to add like a little bit of milk, like an ounce of milk. And maybe some butter. By the way, speaking of butter, my girl Margot, she's in my culinary class, and she always says butter makes the world go round in like her southern voice, even though she's not from the South, she's from Wisconsin and Okinawa. So shout out to you, Margot. Butter does make the world go round, just like money and Jesus. So that's what she always says. That's what we always say. That was her line in culinary. Okay. Oh, rubber scrapers. They're used for like folding stuff and scraping the sides of the bowl. They're not usually used for stirring. So, okay. Now it's pretty much moist. That's good. Okay. I'm going to add some parsley to get some green in there. I'm not going to add any more butter because I don't think it needs any more butter. I like the taste of parsley, so just gonna fold it around. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna get out our cooking sheet or baking sheet. Oh, we have to put in our bacon. We can't forget the bacon. Oh, I forgot. Bacon also makes the world go round. Because everybody likes bacon except vegetarians. Now, what you can do, you can spray this with Pam. You could use Crisco on it. You could use, you could have the olive oil and brush it. What you're supposed to do with the mushrooms now, back to the mushrooms. We're going to get our olive oil. Okay. And we're just gonna put a little bit of seasonings in here. With the olive oil. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put in some of this, my natural seasonings, and garlic basil, which is the perfect pinch, as McCormick says. So, a little bit in here. Okay, seems like enough. A little bit in here. That's good. Put that away and get some pepper. Okay. Get my brush and my fork to stir just for a little bit. Okay. Now, like I said earlier, I believe I said, mushrooms, they hold on a lot of moisture. So I remember the first time I cooked this, and I went by the recipe I found on the internet, like all the juices were coming out of the mushrooms, and they were all, it was kind of nasty and wet. I had to like pat them down and all stuff. So I tried to squeeze out most of the moisture. I probably didn't get it all out, but you know, as long as you try. So you just brush it with the flavor you want. Like that. Okay. I only have 4 mushrooms. The reason why I only have 4 mushrooms is because, so you know how on Facebook I have like the Kaela Kreations pictures? And so I was planning, because I knew I was going to make stuffed mushrooms. But I was like, what if I actually like cut up the mushrooms instead of using canned mushrooms for the lasagna I made? And so I decided to cut up the mushrooms for the lasagna. And then also I made a pot pie like a few days ago. I didn't get to taste it. My mom ate it. You know, I was being generous. So yeah, so she had that. And I cut up some mushrooms in there too. I had like about 20 mushrooms and now I only have 4. And then I had one other, but then it started to look weird and I had to throw that one away. Okay. So here's our all over brushed mushrooms. Now we need to brush the baking pan just a little bit. That's about how much we're gonna use. Okay. Okay. Now to me, it looks like we're gonna have enough stuffing to stuff a bell pepper. Maybe to stuff some other stuff, but who knows? Maybe I could stuff all this stuff into the mushrooms. So it looks pretty colorful to me. You have to use your hands to put this in. Don't be afraid. It's food you're about to eat. It's gonna be good. So you're just gonna stuff it. Try to stuff as much as you can in there. Like imagine if this was you and you chose a mushroom that didn't have a lot of stuffing. Like wouldn't you be upset? So that's why whenever I make something, I want to make something so like everybody can get as much as they want. Because I like to have something where I can get as much as I want. So stuff that. Yeah, we're gonna have enough to stuff a bell pepper. If we only had 2 bell peppers, then I could stuff those things out. But you don't want to also overstuff it where like it'll fall out and like it'll be all over the place. It won't be a pretty plate. Now for the stuffed mushrooms, they're mainly eaten as hors d'oeuvres, but you can also eat them like you could put them in your salad. I was just thinking about this. You could put it in your salad, or you could put it in your pasta, like to lay it on top instead of meatballs. You have stuffed mushrooms, or you could put it in. I mean, you could put it in a sandwich, but I don't know. I never seen a stuffed mushroom sandwich. But yeah, there's many things you can do with stuffed mushrooms. Okay, so back to our bell pepper. We're gonna have to use our paring knife. Paring knives are used to peel and to cut little stuff. We're gonna cut out this white stuff. I'm sorry, I do not know the name of the white stuff. But like the white stuff is not unedible, it just doesn't taste good. Like it's bitter and it's not pretty. I saw Bobby Flay cut out all the white stuff, and I remember when I started hospitality at church that they always said cut out the white stuff. It's not good for you. Like it doesn't have any nutritious values too. So cut it all out. Okay. Okay. So I have a confession. Earlier, like I think last week, I tried to film with my brother doing stuffed mushrooms. Or not stuffed mushrooms, doing stuffed bell pepper. And so my brother, he thinks he's a comedian, and so he wants to be the peanut gallery and start talking like during whatever, and he was like, oh, I think you should do this, I think you should do that. And that was quite distracting to me, and I couldn't get my stuff done, and it was really pretty, but I just never posted it because the cameraing was awful, and like the camera was awful, and Nathan was just talking so much. So with my other stuffed bell peppers, I made chips too, because we had pita bread, or it was called flatbread pita pocket bread, and we just cut it up, and then you cut it up, you put some olive oil on it with your seasonings, just like this, and you put it in the oven, but you put it on the broiler, so then the chips will get toasty. So it looks stuffed to me. Yeah. Because I made one where it was like, it was cooked and the other one wasn't cooked. And I had an avocado sauce with it and everything. And so the one that wasn't cooked, you could eat it like a salad because it had lettuce and all that stuff in it. And the other one, that was cooked. It was coarse. It was like leaking because all the juices and all that stuff. But then it was really good. Each one was really good. So now we have extra stuffing, and I'll find what to do with it later. But we'll deal with that later. I'm gonna wash my hands, and I'm gonna pop it in the oven. The oven temperature should be 400 degrees, and it should bake for about 20 minutes. Like, it was like 20 minutes for 20 mushrooms, so since I don't have a lot of mushrooms, I'm gonna put on for 15 and just check. And then I'm gonna re-put in for 5 minutes if I need to. And so I'm gonna pop these in the oven, then I'm gonna clear my mess, and then I'll see y'all later, and y'all will see the beautiful masterpiece very, very soon. Okay. Okay, so I was thinking about what I could do with my extra stuffing, and I came up to, well, I was gonna fry it, trying to. I don't have any more breadcrumbs, so I could put some put some flour on it, and see, that works like frying chicken, or something like that. Or I'm just gonna put it in the pan and see what happens. So I'm gonna form it to little balls, like that, and see what happens. Now hopefully you don't have any extra stuffing. Well, it's good to have extra stuffing so you could like experiment, because that's what I'm doing right now. But also, if you don't have extra stuffing, that means you have plenty of mushrooms, so you're not limited. Place these onto the brown butter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have little stuffing balls. And I just want to show you the fact that I am experimenting with whatever I have left of my meal. Okay, so I'll see you in a little while, and I'll tell you if it turns out good or not. So the oven just went off. So I'm gonna go grab this stuff out. And if you wanted to know, they ended up being shrimp patties, and it was actually pretty good. I had 5 and 3 were already eaten, so you know it's off the chain. Okay, so here it is. Ooh, our stuffed mushrooms and bell peppers. But now I'm going to plate it so it'll look absolutely delish. And we could place this with a salad. We could place this soup. We could place it just as hors d'oeuvres. So we're gonna plate. Put this over here. Hi, Nathan. Would you like a sauce, a patty?
Sure.
Here, try one. Tell me if it's good. Don't eat over the food. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's 3 things you could do with the stuffing. Okay. I'm gonna talk about the stuff I used to make it. So, how much shrimp I had? I had about 10 shrimp. The breadcrumbs was about a cup. I had 2 eggs. So think about this, like 2 eggs per 1 cup of breadcrumbs. The sausage, I had 3 already pre-sliced sausages, and it was Jimmy Dean sausages, and they were sage. You could use maple too, because it'll make it a little bit sweeter. Garlic, 1 clove. Always remember that. You don't need a lot of garlic, because garlic is really, it gives a real pow punch, you know. Onion, I used a half an onion, but then I cut that in half and I used a 1/4 of onion, so, because you don't need a lot of onion. I had only 4 mushrooms, but all this stuffing, you could be used for about 20 20, 15, you know. But if I have like all big mushrooms like that, then it'll be probably like 10. What else? My seasonings, I just eyed it. I've like, if I'm making something like for myself or something, I never usually measure out my seasonings because I know how it's gonna taste. So I have that connection with food. And what else? My olive oil, you don't have to eye that unless you're putting olive oil into it. Then maybe you want to measure it out, like a teaspoon, tablespoon. On my butter, you never have to measure out butter because, like I said, butter makes the world go round, and you can have as much butter as you want. And my grated cheese, it's like a 1/4 cup. My regular cheese, my Italian cheese, and my cheddar cheese is about 1/4 cup. And that's about it. So I hope you're able to do this recipe, and I hope you want to see some more Kaela's creations. Thank you for watching. Love, Kaela.